Okay, everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. Liam Hartree here, and I'm just sharing a quick lesson that I hope will help you to become a happier, healthier, and more fulfilled version of yourself in your own life. Okay. As I always say, I'm not a perfect person by any means, but I have learned some very valuable lessons in my own life, as well as through working with some incredible people who've achieved some amazing things. And basically, I just wanted to share with you today a little bit about boundaries and a little bit about how to improve your self-respect, improve how people treat you. Excuse me, it's a big issue in the world today, where people don't have very good boundaries. People don't have very good parameters on how people treat them. A lot of people feel maybe, if you're watching this, you feel that people don't always treat you as well as they could. They don't respect your boundaries. They talk about you behind your back. They take things off you. They do various things. And I'm not literally just talking about bullying here. I'm talking about the concept of you allow people to treat you a certain way or not. And part of this, you can actually alter this even on a very superficial level. So let's start there. You walk into a shop wearing um, joggers and a t-shirt or something, nobody looks twice, nobody gets out of your way, nobody bothers. You walk into a shop wearing suits. For example, I've done this before where I finished working, I'm wearing a suit, I take my tie off, maybe unbutton the top button, but I've still got a full suit. I'm walking the shop. People step out the way. Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. And, you know, don't mind me. I'm not going to step out your way and all this type of thing. And there's a lot of respect. Yes, that's judgmental. Yes, that's superficial. It applies to women as well as men. But the principle of that is that you've put yourself in a position where you're wearing a suit or you're wearing, maybe, if you're a woman, you're wearing a nice dress or something. It has an effect on you. You stand up a little bit straighter, you look people in the eye a little bit more, and you're giving out the feedback, you're giving out the energy, the vibe that you deserve, that little bit more respect than you would maybe if you're just wearing joggers or you're wearing something casual. Now, there's nothing wrong with that, but the principle I'm getting at here is it's not just how other people see you, it's how you see yourself that then reflects outwards and then comes back to you, if that makes sense. And it's the same thing with excuse me, I had a bad chest, just getting over it. But it's the same thing with how people treat you in just about every way. Yes, there's how people treat you, that's true. And yes, a lot of the time there's manipulative people, fake people, people stab you in the back and all these types of things. It's very true. But there's always going to be an element, even if it's just a very small seed, a very small piece within yourself that's in some way allowing that to happen, that's in some way expecting to be treated that way, maybe even feeling that you deserve it, maybe even feeling that it's all you know, maybe even feeling that it's how you grew up. This is another big one. Love means different things to different people depending on how they grew up. So what we have the ability to receive is one thing, and it's a very, very important thing to work on. I know this one, excuse me, might sound a little bit strange, a little bit abstract, a little bit out the box, but it's very, very important. If you're consistently drawing into your life the same patterns with people, with friendships, with relationships, with any type of thing, what it does, it actually says something about you as well as them. And this is not a blame thing. I'm not saying it's your fault. I'm saying by any means. What I'm actually saying is in most cases, this pattern, if you're in some sort of negative pattern where people don't treat you the way you want, you need to have a look at where that pattern started. Did it start in your childhood? Did it start in your teenagehood? Did it start with some of your family role models? Is it something that you feel about yourself? I mean, I've met people over the years, who like even in relationships, like with women, for example, like that, who actually, are in relationships with men who hit them and things. Obviously, that's a terrible thing, but sometimes it takes them a while to see that that man doesn't actually love them, but she thinks he does, even though he's hitting her, right? And there'll be a pattern in there of something she grew up with, maybe her father, maybe other male relatives, something in the background that's kind of mixed up, what love is for real, and that's just one example, and again, I'm definitely not saying it's her fault by any means, but I am saying when we come out of certain situations and it's all we know, it's very, very easy to get caught in that trap. And we have to change what we know. We have to change what we believe about ourselves to get a different result from the people that we're dealing with in the outside world, you know. And that is something that is very, very important, that, you know, really, really matters in life. And I've been through it in my own life with drawing into my life, you know, certain types of relationships, certain types of friendships. And don't get me wrong, I've had some lovely relationships, I've had some lovely friendships, but I've also had some really terrible ones as well. And you sort of look, you know, why do I draw into my life certain people, unreliable people, for example, erratic people, people who say they're going to do one thing and they do something else, um, people who have a tendency to sort of, you know, I'm putting a trust in them and they sort of withdraw it back, and, you know, things like that. And this is something I have less trouble with now. I still have some trouble with it, but there's things in my background, there's things in my upbringing that reflect that, and it's something I'm still working on now. And it'll be the same with you, whatever your thing is. And if it's something you want to change in the outside world, it's got to be something that you'll change within yourself, because then when you meet those people, even if you still meet those people, that concept that's within you won't connect with that other person anymore. You know, if you feel totally good about yourself and you feel totally, if we narrow it down, you feel totally worthy, for example, of being treated well, and being treated with care and love and all this type of thing, or even in friendships, you know, being treated with respect and decency and all sorts of things, then even if you meet someone who's disrespectful and manipulative and doesn't match those traits, if you're not feeling that within yourself, the two of you just won't click, it won't gel, it won't connect. Even if you know the person, even if you see the person from time to time and say, hey, how you doing? It won't connect. And you'll find yourself that you'll only connect with people who match the frequency, match the resonance that you are actually on. Not all of you, but even if there's one piece that's there, that's playing. And this happens a lot with trauma. You find a lot of people who are trauma survivors will get into relationships or have friendships or whatever with people who are also trauma survivors. So then the core connection would be being a trauma survivor, but then you could have, for example, one person who's being a trauma survivor and they're handling it real well and processing it, working through it, journaling, doing cognitive behavior therapy, doing various techniques to work on facing the trauma. You've got somebody over here who's drinking, doing drugs, being, you know, sleeping around, doing whatever they're doing, self-harming or whatever, doing all sorts of negative things to handle their trauma. No, again, no criticism. I mean, you know, we all go through times like that. Anyone who survived trauma. But what I'm saying is the underbelly of each person, this person has trauma, this person has trauma, this one's handled it well, this one isn't, come together. Now that can be quite destructive. Now it's possible that the one person could help the other person through their trauma, but at the same time, it's possible that those two things could actually clash and cause a destructive relationship or even a destructive friendship. So what you're putting out into the world is literally what you're getting back, and the people who are in your life are to one degree or another a reflection of you and how you feel about yourself, how much you love yourself. I would recommend, as the last thing before we wrap this up, writing down a list of your beliefs about yourself. You know, get a pen, get a paper. It's better to do it that way than doing it on your phone, and write down a list of the things that you believe about yourself, and do not filter them in any way. Do not think, I don't want to put that down because it's embarrassing. I don't want to put that down because I don't like that part of myself. I don't want to put that down because what will people think? Forget about all that. Don't second guess it in your conscious mind. Do I really feel that way or not? If it's coming out and you want to write it down, just write it down and figure out what it means later. Then what you can do is you can start to deconstruct these beliefs, because a lot of these beliefs that you have about yourself do not belong to you. A lot of your beliefs about yourself come from other people. They were given to you when you were a child. Somebody told you you're good at this, but you're not good at this, or somebody told you that, you know, you don't look good enough, or, you know, people won't like you, or you're weird, or whatever, you know. And it happens positive and negative. We grow up and we think, oh, none of that stuff matters. I was just a kid when that happened. Doesn't make any difference now, but it does, and it's still there beneath the surface. So if you write down a list of beliefs about yourself, then start writing down, if it's a belief you like, I'm intelligent, I'm attractive, I'm motivated, whatever, fantastic, there's nothing you need to do. But if it's a belief that's not serving you, and that's how we frame it, I'm not saying it's right, it's wrong, but it's not getting you where you want to be in life, then you have to develop a counter belief to that belief. So you have a belief of feeling stupid, for example, feeling not very intelligent, or feeling put down in that way. That's a common one. A lot of people come out of school feeling that way, for example. Then you write down a counter belief. Now, you can't jump from 0 to 60 or 0 to 100 straight away. You can't go from saying, I feel terrible about myself, to I feel great about myself. You have to build it up from I feel terrible about myself to I feel not bad about myself, and I feel not bad about myself to I feel pretty good about myself, to I feel very good, to I feel great, and so on. And this only comes with repetition. Can't do it in one day. So when you've got these beliefs written down, then start, when you've got the counter beliefs, so you've got the negative belief here, you've got the opposite positive belief here, then you need to read the positive belief every single day. Say to yourself every single day, I'm worthy, I'm lovable, I'm friendly, I'm intelligent, whatever it is, over and over and over, and eventually your mind will start to believe it. So I hope this is some help to you. You've gone a little bit deeper in this one. For more content like this, please subscribe to the Simply Inspired YouTube channel. And as well as that, you can also contact me on social media at Liam Hartree as well. And feel free to reach out to me. I coach, I guide people on a lot of these mindset topics, self-improvement topics, tried, tested, and proven. So thank you very much for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed. Thank you. See you soon.